Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. So I think we're still on 2 larts. I think so. Yeah, we're still on 2 larts, my delicious little babies. Okay. Now then, it's absolutely peeing down with rain at 7:30 in the evening, my delicious little babies, on this February the 6th. 2026, my delicious little babies, and yeah, it's been peeing down for most of the day in our old England, in our old Brummyland, my delicious little babies. Now then, I wasn't actually going to put a video out today, my delicious little babies, and the reason why is because I just thought, well, you know what, there's not an awful lot of news, and to be quite honest, in the past I'd say a few days, I haven't been, it sounds really bad, doesn't it? But I haven't been bothered, you know what I mean, to say, okay, let's really look for something, you know what I mean, my delicious babies, okay? I mean, there's plenty for me to, to read up on with different things, my delicious babies. It's just that I've got to get something, there we are, into my noddle, okay, for myself to say, okay, do you understand what I mean, my delicious babies, if you get me, okay? Anyway, I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you most deliciously. Still got to keep a handle on it for some, okay, my delicious babies, not your beautiful selves, clearly, okay? Now then, so I've heard on, I was about halfway through it, I think, on YouTube, my delicious babies. I do advertise him sometimes. He's very good. Not in that way with anybody. Neil, capital N, space, McCoy, small c and large c, O-Y, sorry. Then Ward, capital W-A-R-D. I think he's up to 544,000 subscribers, my delicious babies, and he does do different there we are, financial courses, okay, my delicious babies. But anyway, so he came up on my feed, and yeah, AI, my delicious babies, yes, AI, here we go again. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? Has wiped out 285 billion from the financial market, my delicious babies. That's what I heard earlier. Okay, so if you was to have any interest at all, my delicious babies, then it's Neil McCoy Ward with spaces on YouTube, and that is his latest video. Yes, as we can see, and I looked at a couple of the comments, only a couple. I never looked at much. Okay, I just haven't been in the mood, to be honest with you, my delicious babies. Anyway, and yeah, somebody really said, there we are, ding ding dong dong, common sense as well, this AR, so like basically they cannot be taken to court, and it's all common sense really. So you cannot take AI to court, and you cannot do this, and you cannot do that, man, to the shtick babies. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? So when everybody was covering something else, man, to the shtick babies, which I'll repeat again, I'm not saying that things have not happened. I'm not saying that. Okay, it's just that I also heard, on a different video years ago, Martin babies, as I keep pointing out. So I'm not saying what's what. What I'm saying is, while all of that was going on, because let me tell you, YouTube right now, Martin babies, is literally flooded. It's like somebody's opened the dam, and it's completely flooded. Martin babies with, these files. Martin babies, then at the same time, when it came up on my feed with dear Neil, bless him, then something else happens. There we are, somewhere else. Do you see what I mean, Martin babies? Yes. Right now then, Martin babies, what have I got for you? Yeah. So the first one, my delicious babies, I always do things for a reason, okay? So anybody who's been so very kind enough, so thank you for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments. You will know how I operate, you know. I'm a smooth operator. Who was that? Was it Sade? Need to remember the year of that song, my delicious babies, okay? Anyway, I always do things for a reason, so let's get to the first one. So the first one, my delicious little babies, this is, and these are all on YouTube today, my delicious little babies. Capital T, the space, capital G, good, then space, capital old, then space, capital B, British, and then space, capital D, days. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, all spaces. The good old British days. Yes, my delicious little babies. This uploader happens to have 15.7 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? The video should read 25 cheap British vintage 10 minutes for seniors living alone. Basically, this is to do with like little meals, my delicious little babies, that in our old England, going back decades and decades ago, they used to make all of these different meals. I think this is about, is it under 30 minutes long or something like that? Now, what I also want to say to you, my delicious little babies, is that my beautiful little Maisie Mew, my little pussy cat, because my beautiful little Ruby Tuesday, she wasn't doing it. It was my beautiful little Maisie Mew, okay, because they're both so beautiful. She was eating some little Go-Cat biscuits a short while ago, my delicious little babies, and I thought, hold on a minute. And I looked at the shape and I thought, hold on a minute. So I took the plate carefully into my kitchen and I thought, I'm going to put up a shorty video. Now, in a matter of minutes, I think it's had 172 views, because I was asking what ones thought of the shape. Now, to myself, at first you would think it's a crab, you know, like the shape of a crab, you know, with the claws and that. But when you look properly, to myself, it looks like a scorpion. So it's clear to myself, my delicious little babies, that somebody out there in the world, there we are, is dealing, there we are, with a scorpion, you know, and whoever this happens to be has a very nasty, there we are, sting in their tail, it seems, okay, because I pay attention, as I've explained before, to the different patterns and shapes that my beautiful little Maisie Moo makes, or sometimes our beautiful little chin, Auntie Carla's little chin, who comes from up the road when she decides to pop in my delicious little babies. It's gone really light then, hasn't it, my delicious little babies? You know, and what shapes she makes as well, you know, whilst they're eating. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? And whatever's left over, I take a look at the shapes, my delicious little babies. Okay, some would say, well, you know, that's a really strange thing to do, but no. You see, if we look at our beautiful little babies, we call our sons and daughters, you know, they're extremely, they are very clever. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, the next one. So let's just get back to the matter in hand now. So this one here, I forgot to put down. Anyway, we are talking about we love animals. So you only have to type that into YouTube, my delicious little babies. But this was 3 years ago, so you'd be going through a lot of videos. I forgot to flipping write down how many. It's got, I'm pretty sure it's probably got a couple of million subscribers. But the video you would be looking for, okay, this came up on my feed as well from 3 years ago. Should read the title, Adorable Baby Monkey, you know, them little tiny ones, melts hearts whether he sits, runs, jumps, or wreaks havoc. Okay, my delicious little babies, I never actually clicked on it. I was just reading, you know, the little the little writing, the subtitles, okay? So I assumed that the last word was havoc. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, I'll just repeat that again for you. Adorable baby monkey melts hearts, whether he sits, runs, jumps, or wreaks havoc. There's a point to everything I do. There we are, my delicious little babies. Okay, you see, this little monkey here apparently were basically rescued. Okay, my delicious little babies, and yeah, they're very clever, aren't they, little monkeys? You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Very clever indeed, aren't they? Just when you think you see one, then we got another one appears. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? And they seem to be here, there, and everywhere, don't they, my delicious little babies? Anyway, so the next one, my delicious little babies. Oh, and I want to mention this. I've wrote this down. I haven't wrote down the uploader to who was on this video because I really just did not feel the need to do that. So it's nothing personal to the uploader, okay? But I really just didn't feel, I'll repeat again, the need to advertise their channel. I haven't looked at any other videos. I never even clicked on it. Again, I was just reading the little subtitles. Do you see what I mean? Okay. It was just at the start of it, and this is to do with this particular video was to do with what's his bloody name? I only seen seconds. Dr. Emir Khan. Okay, my delicious babies now. For the majority of you out there, my delicious babies, you will, I'll jog your memory. Okay, my delicious babies, I'll jog your noddle. He was on, you know, the box in the corner of the room. Was it Good Morning Britain or something like this now then? And he was one of the bullshit doctors. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? You know, around the COVID, around that time, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? So, anyway, this came up on my feed, my delicious babies. Now, me personally, I've never seen this uploader before, okay? But I've seen him, and well, you should have heard me cussing my delicious babies in my kitchen, do you know what I mean? I went, you know, sneaky little bee man. Managed to get himself onto videos. There we are on YouTube, my delicious babies. Now, for some of you, you may have seen him long time on YouTube, but I haven't. I thought, who on earth would want to ever take advice from that prick? And yes, I will say it, my delicious babies is a little prick. He's also a barefaced effing liar, man. That's what this is. It is. Okay, my delicious babies. So I thought I'd mention it. So if anybody happens to stumble across where you see him, what's it called? Oh, I forgot what it's flipping called now. Anyway, if it happens to come up on anybody's feed, my delicious babies, please, I beg you with the Lord of mercy, please do not take any health tips from this piece of shit. Okay, my delicious babies, and I couldn't give a damn anyway if he saw my birth race. I couldn't give a damn. He's a lying little swine. He's a filthy, dirty piece of shit. That's what he is. And you imagine how many millions, my delicious babies, were listening to this piece of shit. I was absolutely furious. Do you see how bright it went, my delicious babies? I was absolutely flipping effing furious when I seen him. I thought, you little effer, man. You get yourself onto the videos and you expect anyone with a flipping level noddle to listen to the bullshit that he comes out with. And he's got letters in his name, doctor. He's no doctor. He's just a dirty, filthy, grubby scratcher. That's what he is, my delicious little baby. He's nothing more and nothing less. And I'm absolutely flipping pissed off when I seen his birth race. I thought, what's he? But in a way, I was. I'm not going to say pleased. What word can we use? I don't know. I cannot spare a thought for the word right now, okay? Because I don't want to say pleased because I wasn't pleased. But in a way, for him to come up on my feed, my delicious babies, I'm glad he did. so I can expose the piece of shit for what there we are, for what he really is. Okay, my delicious little babies. And I actually spoke to somebody today, oh bless her, a dear elderly lady. She's not long lost her dear husband, bless her, Kai, and yeah, she's having good days and bad, bless her beautiful dear little soul. She's in her 80s. And she was telling me, my delicious little babies, that somebody had told somebody else not to take these injections. They call them injections, my delicious little babies. Some of them call them vaccines. I call them snake oil. Because after all, you know, there was 36 different types of snake venom, very sadly, in one man cans in Italy. And this is going back years ago. There we are, my delicious little babies, okay? So I knew about this. I was talking about snakes long time before any doctor mentioned anything. So I'm not bigging myself up, my delicious little babies. It's just for some unknown reason, I just kept talking, there we are, about snakes. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, yeah? And true to form, yeah. So, but she's been advised, bless her. You know, I'm not necessarily going to say bless whoever told her, because I don't know who they are, do not know. But we can only thank them for that, can't we, my delicious little babies? Do you see what I mean? And I've already, you know, bless her, I've already give her a warning as well. And there was another elderly gentleman who I've seen today as well. I give him a warning as well. I said, there's this newer variant, this new virus that they say in the box in the corner of the room that's come out. Okay, I said, please, I beg you with the Lord of mercy, do not take anything. Okay, my delicious little babies. So I do keep trying. Of course, you know, some in the world may say, you know, she's very effing trying. Do you know what I mean? But so be it. I couldn't give a figures F anyway. What anybody thinks of myself, not at all. See how bright it goes. Okay, my delicious little babies now then. So, like I say, there's not a lot today. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, the next one is, right, this upload happens to have 423,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies. And it's called, I forgot. Is it called Capital G, I think. Gary Space Eats. I think that's him. Okay, this is one of his latest videos, my delicious little babies. Anyway, the title should read, if you was to type it into YouTube, should anybody please and thank you have any form of an interest. Okay, I never needed to stumble here with this video. Okay, I never needed to stumble at all, actually. Okay, the title should read, the worst restaurant I've ever missed that bit out. Sorry, rewind and start again. The worst restaurant I've ever been. I missed out been. Sorry. My delicious little babies. Disgusting food and total scam. Okay, my delicious little babies. It wasn't long. I think about 20 minutes long. I'll just repeat that for you, my delicious little babies. The worst restaurant I've ever been, disgusting food and total scam. Yes, my delicious little babies. I keep stumbling here. Okay, this is to do with that restaurant. I mean, it was absolutely damn rank. And they call themselves, what was it called? The Palace Restaurant. For a start off, half of the writing, so it said Ice. Okay, my delicious little babies, so they haven't replaced that part, you know, their canopy or anything. Okay, when you went into the restaurant, it had holes in the ceiling, you know, so all of that needed doing, my delicious little babies. And they charged for a cheese jacket potato with what you call a beef tomato, you know, those beef tomatoes. and what is it? A little strip of lettuce, a squirt of mayo, uh, and what was it? £15.50. I do believe, was it opposite Buckingham Palace? That shitty place. Was it there? I don't know. Or were my eyes deceiving me? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was opposite that shitty place, Buckingham Palace. Anyway, and how much was it for a burger? I forgot now. Was it about £18 something? Sorry, excuse me. £3.70. Like for their tips that they receive. Well, you should have seen it, my delicious babies. What my thoughts was what was in that burger. There we are. That was what my thoughts was. Okay, my delicious babies. But I just mentioned it. You're probably saying to yourself, why is she mentioning food? There's a reason why, my delicious babies, because you see, when you go back to what I call it the good old fashioned days, okay, my delicious babies, and you see, we used to have what was called plain, there we are, honest food. That's what we used to have, my delicious babies, plain, there we are, honest food. Okay, my delicious babies, and let me tell you, there wasn't, to be fair, you go back decades ago, it's very rare you'd ever find a dear family, a dear mama bear, bless all of their beautiful dear little souls. I hope they're all resting in peace in the world, you know what I mean? Who could not cook. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's why there was very little in the way of restaurants and things like this now then. Even if you look at, what you would call the local fish and chip shop, the chippy, you know what I mean? There wasn't very many of those either, you know what I mean? Because there was a lot, there we are, of home cooking. So if this is anything to go by, I certainly wouldn't go to the Ace or Palace restaurant, my delicious little babies, in London. I wouldn't go there at all, actually. And then let me tell you, your man there, I think his name's Gary, your man there, okay, unless I've got his flipping name wrong. Oh, I'm sorry if I got it wrong. Well, he's really good, because I would have demanded. Do you know what I mean? In fact, I wouldn't have even touched the food. I would have gone straight back up to the counter, and I would have, there we are, demanded my change back, my kaching back, because that is total crap. Serving shit. Do you know what I mean, Mads, little babies? I wouldn't even give it to my beautiful dear little Ruby Tuesday. I wouldn't. Do you understand what I mean? And she eats a lot of the food that I eat, and I wouldn't give it to my baby. Do you see what I mean? Okay. And how they're getting away with it. This is even worse, but this is what you've got. It's the same with these Just Eats. This is the point I'm making. These Just Eats. You know what I mean? I mean, that doesn't mean no. Like, I mean, you order something, my delicious babies, and, I mean, you're looking at what, 30 ka-ching, 30 squids, my delicious babies. I mean, how on earth are they getting away? There we are with all of this. I mean, imagine if one went to the shops, just to go and buy the ingredients themselves. There's plenty of YouTube videos if somebody is not very good at cooking. My delicious babies, there is something for everybody. It's like the university, as me dear beautiful neighbours upstairs would say. It's like the university of YouTube. It's like you've got a bit of everything. Do you know what I mean? So by the time that you sat there waiting, from the time when you make your order, from the time that you sit there waiting, you could have already been in your kitchen and, chopping, whatever it is, onions, peppers, whatever, vegetables and things like this now then. You could already be doing that. Do you see what I'm saying, my delicious little baby? So that's the point that I'm making. We've come a very long way from the good old British days, my delicious little babies. Oh yes, and not in a very nice way. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. Now then, so we have got two left. So the next one, my delicious little babies, this is capital C, Chili. So I'll spell it for you. CHILLI space capital J. So it's two words together, capital C, John Carney. So it's JON. Okay, so we miss out the H. So that is the upload of my delicious little babies. I'll repeat it again. Chili space John Carney. Okay, my delicious babies. CARNE. I think it's been years actually since I've advertised one of his videos, my delicious little babies. But he popped back up on my feed. And he happens to have 120,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies. And the video should read, it's only about 10 minutes long, my delicious little babies. The other video, like I said, that's not long. It's about, I think that's about 20, minutes long. They're not long videos today, my delicious little babies. TV license for YouTube. Yes, my delicious little babies, this is all about, you see, because what's happened is, because you've got millions, it's quite obvious what's happened, my delicious little babies, well, to myself anyway, as I'm pretty sure it would be to yourselves. Because they're losing out, we know who, and the little lackeys. Because they're losing out, my delicious little babies, on a lot of the old ka-ching, ching, 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 you know, pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change for the old TV licence, you know, your box in the corner of the room that just delivers just nothing but a load of shit. Because ones are just refusing to pay it. Okay? And of course, you know, they try to send their bully boys around, you know what I mean? Martin Stuckbays. It doesn't work with myself anyway, because I've sent him a number of times and it hasn't worked at all, Martin Stuckbabies, you know what I mean? I do not see why I should pay for something if I haven't even got a television. Do you know what I mean, Martin Stuckbabies? But what they're saying is, well, what Chili John Carney's saying is that, say if you watch, you know, that crappy station, GB News, you know, on YouTube, Martin Babies, because it is crap. I really just do not like to ever advertise them at all. I usually just skip past it. Do you know what I mean, Martin Babies? Well, they're part of, you know, that if you watch it on YouTube, GB News, then what they're saying is that you would need to have a TV license, my delicious little babies. You see, this is just another way of what's the word? Extracting. There we are. Extracting change, ka-ching, from mankind. But because they're losing, you know, so much, and also let's not forget, in our old England, especially in Brummyland, my delicious little babies, how many are not paying the council tax either. So I would say it's not going very well for them. And I haven't paid the council tax. There we are forever. I mean, I had to psych myself up to do all of these things. I haven't paid television licence forever either. But I had to psych myself up to do it. To say, no, enough is enough. You know what I mean, Mads, little babies. But when I did it, I've got to be honest, I felt, there we are, much better for doing it. Because I didn't contract with nobody. And whose signature, photocopied, by the way, is on that letter. Who is your man there? Who is your woman here? Because they put my name in capital letters. Well, I don't like this word. We seem to hear rather a lot of it, okay? But the old-fashioned saying is, well, I'm not dead at sea, even though they have us under maritime, Martin babies. As you can see, Martin babies, I'm talking in the camera to yourself, so I'm not dead at sea at all. But that's what they use with our capital letters anyway. That is for another day, okay, Martin babies. So some of you already know this, but for others of you Madelishlik babies. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, Madelishlik babies, then one to go on. There's plenty of different channels, okay, but one to go on to get you started. For anybody who's not sure about all of this, would be capital T, the space, capital S, Strawman on YouTube, Madelishlik babies, okay? Please and thank you. That's years old now, okay, Madelishlik babies, but yeah. So no, I haven't paid it. So like I say, so now they're trying to sting with the YouTube. See what I'm saying? I've heard this months ago, actually. There we are, Madelishlik babies, but it's come back up on feet. I'm not paying no flipping license to watch YouTube. Why should anybody have to do that, Madelishlik babies? You know what I mean? This is bang out of order. I mean, the only reason why ones are paying the television licence was because of the BBC, which they're nothing but bull-shouting little bees, man. Do you see what I mean? There we are, Madelishlik babies. Do you see what I'm saying, okay? So why must everybody pay to watch YouTube? Because these are mighty peed off, isn't it? Because hardly nobody's watching the box in the corner room. It's the same with the newspapers, Madelishlik babies. When I was 11, I used to deliver newspapers, Madelishlik babies, okay? And I remember one time, I mean, and it was a heavy bag that I used to carry, Madelishlik babies, you know, over my shoulder, okay? And I used to borrow my sister's BMX, and we used to have no end of newspapers. Sometimes I used to have to go back to the shop, you know, where I get the newspapers from, who employed me, and pick up more newspapers, because so many used to read the newspaper. But even if you look over time now, you know, ones just do not really read the newspaper, you know what I mean, Madelishlik babies, okay? How times have changed. That was the days. Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. You know, when you used to get a little brown envelope with your ka-ching, your little bit of cash inside it, yeah. And then I used to go into the markets in the town centre, yeah, and I used to spend some of me ka-ching, you know what I mean? And I used to feel really good about myself, you know what I mean, because I've earned it myself. Do you know what I'm saying, Madelishlik babies? Anyway, but I never used to spend it on rubbish. No, never, okay? Anyway, so I just sort of tell you that, Madelishlik babies, if anybody happens to have any form of an interest, and, you know, for all of our lovers out there who love YouTube, okay? But this is bang out of order. You know, if one's one to watch on YouTube, well, the one to watch on YouTube, sorry, do you see what I'm saying? Okay, we shouldn't have to pay for everything. And let's not forget, with our suppliers, okay, Madelishlik babies, because, you know, there's lots of different suppliers, isn't there, for the internet and things like this now then. Well, we already pay a fee, you know, because I pay for the internet and I pay for the landline because I want to keep the landline. Do you see what I mean, Madelishlik babies? Because every now and again, my dog and bone, it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter where I stand, even if I go outside, you know, sometimes it'll either just cut off, or say if one of my beautiful dear little friends has called me, bless her, love me beautiful dear little friends, okay? Be very small circle, you know, even if they call me sometimes, you know, they say, oh, I cannot hear you properly, Carla, do you understand what I mean, okay? And that's these modern flipping dog and bones, you know what I mean, Madelishlik babies. So I want to keep my landline just in case, you know, but then again, if we had a flipping electricity cut, well, then flipping bang goes the landline as well, Madelishlik babies, because I'm unable to charge my dog and bone, and that will cut off my landline as well, Madelishlik babies, anyway. Oh, I don't know. Now, very lastly, Madelishlik babies, and then I'm going to be over and out. What am I on now? Oh, I hope I'm not. I hope I haven't gone too far over. Right, okay. Okay, Madelishlik babies, I'm just saying that for myself. It's just for myself, Madelishlik babies. I do ramble on sometimes, as you very well know. Now then, this is our lovely dear, not in that way, our lovely dear, all in capital letters, Madelishlik babies, with spaces, so I do mention him sometimes, okay? Mag, with one G, space, bitter, space, truth, that's all in capitals, Madelishlik babies, and then space, official, and then space next level. Okay, and it's all in capitals. Okay, my little babies. So with spaces, I'll repeat it again. Mag, bitter, truth, official, next level. He's up to 15.1 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies. Okay, and now then, this video here, my delicious little babies, is over 40 minutes long, my delicious little babies. Okay, and the video should read the title. It's not a secret anymore. Okay, my delicious little babies. I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? It's not a secret anymore. Now, what is this about, my delicious little babies? Now, I wrote it down in brackets what this is about. Now, this is to do with born in the USA. It's America. Okay. And this is called 23 numbers, 23, and, AND, and me, ME. Okay, my delicious little baby, so that's what it's called. 23 and me. Now, if you add up the 2 and the 3, okay, and then you add up the A and the N and the D, then the M and the E. Okay, my delicious little baby. So I'll just explain it. So I'm doing this, okay, my delicious little babies. Dear Mag, bless him, he is not doing this, okay, but he knows all about numbers. There we are, just like myself and others, okay, my delicious little babies. So A would be number 1, okay, so in the alphabet, so numerical would be 1. So N would be, M is 14, okay, my delicious little babies, and D would be number 4. Okay, so in numbers, it would be 1, 14, and 4. Okay, then if you look at M, that would be 13. And then E would be, well, it's 5, isn't it? A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, 5. Sorry, my delicious babies, okay? But if you add it all up, my delicious babies, it comes to 42. So 42, 4 and 2, comes to 6. Okay, my delicious babies, do you see how this rocks and rolls? Okay, so I thought 23 and me. I thought that's a strange to choose, 23 and me. Do you know what I mean? So I thought I'll add it all up. Yeah, and it comes, breaks down to 6. My delicious babies, they love the number 6, like I said. Okay, my delicious babies. So now I'm going to close my book. So thank you, dear Mag. Not in that way, okay, and thank you to the other uploaders, bless them all, okay, not in that way, let's discuss very quickly. So this is all to do with the lab in America, my delicious babies. Now in America, okay, to be fair, basically they're done telling you the truth, okay, whereas over here they're more sneaky. There we are. Do you know what I mean? My delicious babies, okay? Now, this is to do with the lab, and it's all to do with, I don't know if any of you would ever remember, but it's called ancestry. Okay, my delicious babies, where you, basically, how I knew it was, because I knew somebody who did it, actually. She said, that doesn't mean no, just got hair in my mouth. She used to come to myself to come and have a reading. I always used to give her a discount, bless her, you know what I mean? Anyway, because she used to come to me, rather regularly. She chose to, you know what I mean? Bless her dear little soul. I hope she's well. I thought about it the other day, actually. I thought, I hope you're all right, my little lovely. You know what I mean? Not in that way. Anyway. And she told me that she'd done this ancestry. I think at the time, was it 100, ka-ching, ching, ching. I think it was something like that, my delicious little babies. Anyway. And then what it does, it is supposed to break down. So you sort of spit in a I don't know, one of these little containers that they send you or whatever, however it goes. And then you send it off, and then, I don't know, however, whatever clock later, then you receive, where apparently they say that you come from, which of course I remember going back whatever o'clock, you know what I mean? And I remember that, they were advertising that rather a lot. But there was something that I was rather dubious about, because I know that a couple of mankind said to me, I cannot remember who they were, that's genuine now, said, why don't you do it, Carl? I said, no. I said, because where? I said, is my my saliva going to? When you spit, I said, where's that going to? Okay, Maatalistic babies. Now, apparently, this in America, this is very interesting to listen to. There we are, Maatalistic babies. Once again, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, this is really super duper important. Okay, and the reason why I say this is because this is all to do with data as well, Maatalistic babies. Okay, so this is very important. So basically, what am I saying in a nutshell? When ones, which I thought long time, years back, okay, they're, you know what I mean, Martish babies. So when ones just feel that they're just, putting their, their saliva, their spit into a bottle or whatever it is, container. So whatever they're doing, Martish babies, and they think nothing of it. Well, if we look at this a different way, that means that whoever's, sent their spit saliva off, well, then they can work out what type of foods, at the other end, what type of foods. And do you understand what I'm saying, Martish babies? This is extremely serious. Okay, Martish babies, okay? So, it's well worth a listen, there we are, to that video. And bless dear Mag, I mean, admittedly, well, he's a bit like myself, really. Sometimes it's very frustrating because he's getting ones, there we are, to see, okay, there we are, what is going on. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, to point everything out now. And especially and especially when they do all of these hoaxes. And I know really, oh, sorry, pardon me, excuse me, my delicious babies, because I've not long eaten earlier, so I do apologise for that, my delicious babies. I mean, it's not what ones want to hear, because they want to believe that, oh, this has really happened. But no, it's amazing, there we are, the amount of bullshit. Oh, and there was something else. I was listening to, this is another uploader on YouTube, Mads Bays. I'm subscribed to them, actually, and I'm subscribed to Mag as well. Anyway, I'm subscribed to me, my regular uploaders, bless, who I do advertise regularly. Okay, this is called, it's a fakeologist. You only have to type in, please and thank you, Mads little babies, fakeologist number 3. So it's fakeologist, no spaces, and a number 3. Okay, my delicious babies. So when was it the last time I listened to them? Was it yesterday or the day before? Tim, Fake Nukesville, and Jim Rizzoli. Oh, I love listening to them, It's really, really excellent when I listen to them, okay? And what they do, they break it down as well, my delicious babies, about things. So I always tend to listen. I do listen to some other videos, on there from, sometimes from time to time, okay? If there is an interest, that I want to pay attention to. But well worth a listen, my delicious little babies, okay? And Fake Nukesvilles, there we are, and Jim Rizzoli, bless them, there we are. They break it down, and Tim does as well. Do you see what I mean? They have a conversation and everything. And they talk about the hoaxes. Well, apparently, there was something flying around. What did it have? 10 million views. 10 million views. And this is all over that, Pop the Cork, Charlie Cork, over in born in the USA. And somebody had uploaded, I don't know who it was, but they'd uploaded, and I seen it on Fakeologist 3 on YouTube, My Delicious Little Babies Came. And I don't know whether it was, I do not know whether it was on it could have been on, I don't know if it was on Fake Nukes, because he has a load of videos, because they have BitChute. Oh, they're so blessed to have BitChute, honestly. Bless them, but bless them all, not in that way, but bless them all, okay? But they put everything right as well, My Delicious Little Babies, to show how Charlie Cork was supposedly shot, okay? My Delicious Little Babies, you know what I mean? Anyway, me personally, I never believed bullshit, okay? My Delicious Little Babies, so I don't want to discuss that anymore, because I just do not believe bullshit, okay? And of course, you know, if they're going to stage something, there we are, at least get the story correct in the first place, you know what I mean? My Delicious Little Babies, you know, whoever staged it, you know. We see a lot of that, you know, over in the old America, My Delicious Little Babies, you know what I mean? They just seem to love having, you know, crisis actors, you know, but this one was showing how this could have been done, but apparently, yeah, it had 10 million views, My Delicious Little Babies Came. So, but of course, you're still going to have ones out there who are going to say, you know, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You know, it's like all of these ice, baby, doom, 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 doom. You know what I mean? What's going on there? Well, of course, you can hear it, and you can hear the crisis actors. You know what I mean? You can actually hear it. You know, it doesn't take an arms down, you know, to work out that, you know, again, that this is staged. Do you see what I mean, My Delicious Little Babies? And sometimes you've got to look at, like, the location. So what's going on? Oh, and I just want to, what's going on, sorry. So it's the location. I just want to say one last thing. It could be the location. It could be the names. You know, you have to, it's a case of that we are paying attention to every little thing. Okay, My Delicious Little Babies. But for most of the time, I've got to be honest, I just switch off, because I know it's a load of bullshit. So why should I? I've been blessed for eyesight. I've been blessed for my hearing. So why should I waste my time looking at that shit? You know what I mean? Because this is what they rely on. Because everything, you know, has to be, you know, pretend. My Delicious Little Babies. Do you understand what I mean? Oh, one last thing. I'll go back to this again, My Delicious Little Babies. So Mag did a video to do with Greenland as well. My Delicious Little Babies. It's full of, you know, so-called snow. Okay, My Delicious Little Babies. But I want to go back to what I said when I was little, when I was a wee little young bairn, little lass. And I remember saying to my dear dad, I said, well, you know, Daddy, I said, is Greenland green? And he said, oh, you know, at that time, I'm going back when I was very little. I mean, I'm 52 now. That's not old, but, you know, that's a decade and going back again. He said, oh, don't ask daft questions, Car. Do you understand what I mean, My Delicious Babies? And that's what I'm saying. And so I thought I'd just mention this again, but you know, if you look at Mag's, it's only a recent one as well, My Delicious Babies, Car, and you hear what he's got to say on Greenland. And the other thing is, there we are, you know, it's all common sense. Like, you know, well, why would anybody want to go and live there? You know, if basically there's nothing there, why would anybody want to go and live there? Do you understand what I mean, My Delicious Babies? Okay? I remember doing years ago one of my videos to do with Alaska, and that's where everybody was living in a tall block of flats. You know, it's a bit like, you know, where they wanted to take us, you know, everybody in little flats, you know what I mean? Like everybody getting on everybody's nerves, do you know what I mean? But in this flats, block of flats, actually, it was actually everybody got along with each other. I mean, the scenery when you looked out the window, you know, their windows, there we are, you know, because they're showing you, you know, looking out the window, absolutely breathtaking. But it took days, okay, Maardlishlik babies, because you had a shop at the bottom of the flats, okay, Maardlishlik babies. They do it over here in our old England. They've had it for decades now. Some of these very tall, high-rise blocks. That's nearer to the town centre, the Maardlishlik babies, and they used to have the odd flats there. Used to have a little shop at the bottom. Okay, Maardlishlik babies, but sorry, excuse me, but with this one in Alaska, if you run out of something, because there's only one way in, and it's all rocky and everything, there's like a tunnel thing you go through, and there's only one way out. So sometimes if they had a problem with, all the rocks falling, well, that simply means, simple things, that you cannot get any groceries or anything, because, every so many days or weeks they would stock up. But like I just said, there's only one way out of the place and there's only one way in. So when there was loads of rocks, that could take days for everybody to get together to remove them. Do you see what I mean? Maardlishlik babies anyway, but I just thought I'd mention it. But yeah. And of course, if you look at Alaska, you'd have the fishermen coming in and everything. Oh, that's the very last thing I want to say, Maardlishlik babies, yeah. You see, if you go back decades ago, sorry, excuse me, Maardlishlik babies, you go back decades ago, fish used to be the thing now. And that's why I reckon, okay, Maardlishlik babies, why they effed up our fishing trade. Do you know what I mean, Maardlishlik babies? Because if you look at it, there's plenty of fish for everybody. So why is it so that, another country should take from us? And one last thing I want to say as well, Maardlishlik babies, I do not believe that us in our old England, Maardlishlik babies, okay, that we are to blame for everything. Okay, Maardlishlik babies, I also believe that we do not need to, regardless of what ones tell me, that we need to buy anything from other countries, because if these stopped effing around with our weather, we'd be able to grow, there we are, many things. Do you see what I mean, Maardlishlik babies, okay? So what is it doing? It's not helping our old England, is it, Maardlishlik babies, you know what I mean? And of course, with the fishing trade, going back decades and decades ago, I mean, that used to feed families. Do you know what I mean, Maardlishlik babies? Because my granddad, bless his beautiful dear little soul, when he come out of the Navy, then he went into the fishing trade, fisherman. Okay, Maardlishlik babies, then he went into prison, chief engineer. But what I'm saying is, and then when the fishing trade sort of, don't like this word, we seem to keep hearing it lately, died off. So when that died off, you know what I mean? But of course, he'd bring back, bless his beautiful dear little soul. Oh, I love my beautiful dear little nanny and granddad, sir. Okay? He'd bring back all different types of fish, that my beautiful dear little nana and his beautiful dear little self, and, my dear dad and his sister, that we could eat, and of course, parts of the family. Do you see what I'm saying? That they could eat. Sorry, do you see what I'm saying? And it was fresh. Then they effed up the fishing trade. You see what I mean, Maardlishlik babies, okay? So you have to see what's happened over the decades, and how our old England has been stripped of everything. But of course, they will say, that means different trades, everything, like blacksmiths, silversmiths, everything. Even like, cars and everything. And then, of course, you've got a lot of robots in these factories, do you know what I mean? Which, of course, was taking work away, from anybody who wants to work it. Do you understand what I mean, Maardlishlik babies, okay? So, like I say, it's really hard for me to explain what I mean, but, I just do not believe that we needed to import hardly anything at all. Do you know what I mean, Marzlischlik babies? We just never needed to do it. You know, this is all wrong. There we are. There we are. It's all wrong in my view, Marzlischlik babies. Every country has its own, you know, whether it be oil, coal. Do you understand what I mean, Marzlischlik babies? Do you know what I'm saying? But that's what's happened over all the decades, Marzlischlik babies, you know what I mean? And it's totally wrong, and we know who we can flipping not thank for that. Makes me damn sick, man. The whole lot. Yeah, it's of course, you know, England, there we are, gets flipping damn well blamed for everything, delicious little, but there we are. Gets the blame for everything, delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Like I say, if we look at history, you know, and you look back, you know, what is true? Does anybody really know what is true and what isn't? That's all I'm saying, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, you know, some of the ones who are running the countries, you know, 100 years or whatever o'clock ago it was. Okay, I'm not saying, but, you know, if you look at mankind like you and I, you know, and our beautiful generations before us, our families and friends and everything, well, the fact of the matter is we didn't do all of that, did we? Yet we've had everything taken from us. There we are, we've had everything taken from us. It's damn disgusting and it's damn rank. You know, and this is why it'd be so hard, you know, for ones to grow, you know, their own food. Because, I mean, if you look at it, if something's out of season, okay, then you get it, whether it's out of season, you know, it's not supposed to be in season, and then they're still shipping it. If you look at the supermarkets, up to a year that they can have it frozen, stored. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, I'm not going to keep rambling on about it. It just pees me off, my delicious little babies. It really damn well does. When you look back, you know, ones used to thrive, you know, but now, how can anybody really survive, you know, what's going on at the moment? I mean, we're paying the most gas and electric in the whole of the flipping world. What's all that about? When we should have free electric, which we have got right under our feet. You know, then they started doing tarmacking and all these things. They should have just kept everything dusty. There we are. They should have just kept everything dusty. Not changed everything. You know what I mean, Mads, little babies? I'm not shouting at you. It just pees me off. And, of course, they invented shoes and everything like this now then, because, of course, our feet should be firmly on the ground because that is our natural. If you look at our beautiful little babies, you don't see them with little shoes on. Well, I don't know. You do have some flipping owners who put flipping socks and whatever else on their little pussycats and their little babies like little rubes, you know what I mean? Okay, to the point of being utterly ridiculous. Okay, my delicious little babies, but they just walk naturally. They go in the grass, don't they? You know, if they want to do number one, number two, they, you know, to have a little sniff around, you know, and it's all natural for them. Look at animals in the world, that's what they do. But of course, they put shoes on us, you know, to stop us, you know, getting our natural vibration. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot that I feel that is really not right. That has been done. We have natural gas, we have natural everything. Do you know what I mean? And then, of course, you know, you're buying it from other countries. What the effing hell is all that about? Got plenty in our own country. There we are. We've got plenty in our own country. Makes me damn sick, man. Do you know what I mean, mad delicious babies? Anyway, I'm not going to keep moaning anymore. But with myself, a moan a day keeps you not so friendly, quack, quack away. Do you know what I mean, mad delicious babies? But I feel much better for saying it. We need to find some sort of way of getting back to, do you know what I mean? it's going to be a hard slog. There we are. But, you know, we've got to find some way back, haven't we? Anyway, my delicious babies, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves, your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. How I love you so. You are super duper wonderful, super duper delicious, and I love you all, okay? Great big hugs, okay? And please take care of yourselves now, my little lovelies, and please try to take care of others. I've no idea how long my video is going to take to upload. They might stick me back on, you know, the light grey and the dark grey, like a little tape. They might stick me back on that, you know, as if to say, well, we don't like what you've said in this video. Well, there's no surprise, surprise, because it's only what they usually do to me anyway, my delicious babies. Anyway, so until my next video, so very much love. I know it's gone over, but anyway, not to worry. Sometimes these things do happen, and I'm going to get back to my cup of coffee. So until my next video, so very much love. Please take a look at the videos, especially with Mag Bit of Truth, bless him. You know what I mean? You're going to get what I'm saying once you take a listen to what he's saying. Please and thank you, my delicious baby. So much love. Take care. And if it is night time, no, sleep tight. Watch your bed bugs don't bite. And if it is daytime or wherever you are, okay, please have a super duper delicious time wherever you are. Lots of love. Bye.